I'm Ken Marvel, co-owner and CEO of LewAllen Galleries, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this Midsummer 2024 edition of LewAllen Brings the Gallery to You, in which we give you a close-up view of what's current in our various gallery spaces here in Santa Fe. This edition is particularly special because we focus on a 50-year career survey exhibition of an artist who has played a very key role in the history of LewAllen Galleries, Forrest Moses. To tell you more about this remarkable figure, who we think of as truly being the artist of the poetry of landscape, let me introduce Larry Brown, who for more than 17 years worked closely with Forrest as LewAllen's Director of Sales and as the artist's dear friend.
Over the many years of working with Forrest Moses and his extraordinary art, I had the great honor of witnessing an important part of the subtle evolution of a modern master's refined painting sensibility and philosophical maturity. Much of the process was revealed in the nearly 40 paintings assembled for this career survey exhibition. As an artist, Moses came out of a rich tradition of American landscape painting that sought to capture both the majesty and the intimacy of America's diverse natural environments. But it was his study and incorporation of philosophy that elevated the landscapes beyond the elements of form and medium, and his Asian aesthetic influences that further distinguished them. At the heart of Moses' later work is a deep affirmation of Japanese aesthetics and the idea of wabi-sabi, the beauty of the weathered, the broken, the bare, the mysterious, wonderful beauty of the sublime. In Moses' search for truth and meaning, nature became the teacher through direct observation and purity of feeling. Moses' paintings have long inspired dedicated collecting for his unique mastery of the wonders of nature. He accomplished this through his intuitive openness, the pulses, the vibrations of nature's quiet beauty, harmonies of color, the simplicity of line and form, and channeling them with a loving sense of honesty into his paintings. Forrest was fond of saying, "There are many ways of seeing, but the truest and best is with intuition, for it takes in the whole, whereas intellect only takes in the part." It is here that the fully evolved genius and power of Forrest's work resides and will forever remain engaging.
Now to tell you about two other exhibitions going on here at LewAllen, it is my pleasure to introduce Sales Director Stephen Gonzalez.
Currently on view in the modern rooms of the gallery is one of America's foremost contemporary representational painters of landscape, Woody Gwyn. Entitled The Power of Art, this exhibition features beautiful examples of New Mexico's high desert landscapes, stunning seascapes, and landscape details such as an apple tree in full bloom, for which Gwyn is justifiably famous. These works are testament to Gwyn's extraordinary luminosity, purity of color, and meticulous detail, capturing the essence of clarity itself. Gwyn's paintings read as meticulously detailed and clear-eyed elucidations of unexpected visual synergies between what might traditionally be thought of as the majestic and the ordinary in landscape. Each tiny stone on the side of a hill, every whitecap on a wave, every blossom on an apple tree, all are painstakingly painted, one by Gwyn, attaining the status of iconography of a world whose unmitigated truth is itself shown in a Gwyn painting to be a thing of profound beauty. Gwyn's paintings have long been regarded for their capacity to foster a meditative sense of grace and impart a feeling of peace and equanimity. They contemplate simple beauty from the aesthetic parody he portrays in nature between the grand and the ordinary. All these attributes coalesce in service of what Gwyn terms his allegiance to, quote, painting things the way they are. It is a simple but profound aesthetic commitment to the idea of the unalloyed truth of things that creates in Gwyn's work the truly unique, sublime beauty that is his alone.
LewAllen Galleries is also very proud of our artist, Jason Kowalski, who is the recipient of the highly coveted Pollock-Krasner Grant for 2024. Stephen Gonzalez will tell you more about our small preview exhibit of Jason's paintings, now on view in our second floor gallery in anticipation of a full show of new works that Kowalski opens here later this year.
Jason Kowalski's work is far more than mere visual documentation of old buildings and antique cars. His paintings poignantly capture the cultural nuances of a vital time full of hopes and dreams and the edifices of people that populated those times. Kowalski's genius lies in his aesthetic ability to visually transform dilapidation and memory into a sense of joy and resilience. His technical skill is outstanding and is used by him to poetic effect to summon memory and nostalgia with his use of meticulous detail, the shabby and fading, as well as the grand and majestic. The aggregation of these Kowalski presents with a signature use of suffused light, toned colors, and reverential perspective. They inspire consciousness of the times and places that his works portray into a focus that feels liminal between presence and dream. Kowalski's scenes of the highway towns and rural communities of the American countryside evoke a spirit of resilience even as his architectural subjects erode and transform with age. His affectionate treatment of these nearly forgotten places gestures towards our shared sense of a special American memory. We look forward to Jason's full show of new paintings that opens at LewAllen Galleries on Friday, November 8th of this year.
Now we turn to another major exhibition that is currently on view in our Pavilion Gallery, featuring the evocative paintings by the highly respected American painter, Linda Stojak.
Linda Stojak's exotically alluring figures materialize out of an otherworldly plane of richly textured surfaces. In her latest paintings, Stojak continues her lifelong exploration of the female form suspended in the fluctuating space of identity and memory. Though they might appear out of murky depths, her figures are firmly of substance. The seeming incompleteness is a calculated completeness of her vision. Stojak's spare figuration, diaphanous atmospheres, and richly textured canvases suggest complex inner mysteries and tensions hidden within her unusual treatment of the female form and sensitizing viewers to the indelible aura of the feminine spirit. Rather than rooting her figures in detail, Stojak condenses them into the most essential lines and suggestions of volume and atmosphere. Though their appearance can be vague and spectral, they are conveyed with a paint application that is intensely physical, a dichotomy that calls our attention to the materiality of the body and the immutability of the spirit. Her figures are enigmatic, their facial detail often dissolved into visages that are diaphanous in form but bold in presence. They read not as individuals, but instead as timeless specters of a non-corporeal feminine presence. Her otherworldly atmospheres permeate the canvases, surrounding her female forms with a hazy, dreamlike mist to produce a powerfully engaging sense of mystery and tension.